Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Valence League. Welcome back to the Valence League. Welcome back to the Valence League. Welcome back to the Valence.
What's up, man?
Well, we all knew it, so maybe you heard some interesting discussions about Tokyo Dome. Who? Well, hold on a sec. Oh dear.
Oh, you. Okay.
Well, I'm going nowhere right now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take this as a take two. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take this as a take two. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take this as a take two. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take this as a take two. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take this as a take two. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take this as a take two.
Oh, what, like on loop?
Have you got like a loop on or a replay thing?
I'm gonna have a tropical hard candy whilst we wait.
Oof. Spoil yourself, why don't you?
I've got chicken escalopes and potato wedges waiting for me downstairs.
Oh, sounding stellar, that.
All homemade as well. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh. I do a fair amount of homemade cooking, but like I don't tend to go that route. I'm more on the sort of line of like I don't tend to go that route. I'm more on the sort of line of like.
See, I was a chef. So.
Oh wow. Of course, we're here casting Division 2 Game 1, Week 1. Of course, we're here casting Division 2 Sacramentum and Week 1. Sacramentum rising up from Division 3, which I'm sure you're very aware of, Cliff. And then, of course, on the other side, it's OP Nerds, who were the finalists for Division 2, but fell in a reverse sweep. And it's kind of stuck here, so we've got pretty interesting new challenges and old guards who look to be going up ahead. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out.
It's an exciting matchup, actually. Like, when you sit there and think about it, Sacramentum, they had a rocky start last split, and then they peaked really high, and then OP Nerds had a really, really good split last split, and then ended up getting reverse swept, so...
It's some odd ones to come into, and that context makes this first matchup all the more spicy, especially for us on the caster desk, because, you've got some old hatred to bring out against Sacramentum after the way things went in your finals. And for myself as well, John Joe's kind of the head caster, so I enjoy flaming him at all given opportunities, so it's going to be good fun. First bands coming through, as I kind of mentioned, will be OP Nerds over on the blue side, which means General Jin, Weebly, OP Nerds over on the
Dormin,
blue side,
and of course
Nawar in
Weebly,
Dormin, and of course Nawar in Weebly.
And on the red side, we're going to have Sir John Joe in the top lane, Wavy Lad in the jungle, TST Callum in the mid lane, the big man Oban playing AD carry, and Zyphora playing support.
Yeah, and the course, there's a few of these bans coming out, and they are bot lane focused.
Yeah,
Both
definitely.
of the AD carries, I know you were pointing out before this game, there's been the kind of rankings put out, there's like been the kind of about the best players between Division 1 and 2 as a collated list. I believe you're saying Dormin and Auburn top that list for AD carries despite being here in Division 2.
Yeah, they're 1 and 2 for AD carries. And then, you know, for Division 2 AD carries to be top of that list, it's quite a big thing, to be fair. So I'm expecting a lot from the pair of them. Obviously, I know Auburn quite well. So I expected most of these bans. Definitely want to get that Gnar away from John Joe. The Volley Bear last on the red side. That's 100% something you want to ban. You can't let that through.
So damn strong right now. I mean, as on a pro level, obviously this is competitive, but we're not like here playing in the LEC or the likes. Even like at that kind of level, though, we're looking at an 88% presence across the world. Period. It is so damn strong. It's being played everywhere, jungle and top particularly. First pick, though, for OP Nerds will be the Caitlyn, taking that away from Auburn, who's currently resting at a 64% win rate on that in solo queue, by the way.
Yeah. I saw that earlier as well. That's quite big. Ashe on the other side as well. I think Ashe is quite a good answer to the Caitlyn. Caitlyn does well in that lane, but the volley, I think, outranges Caitlyn's auto attacks.
Yeah, it does.
So,
you can trade back pretty well from what I hear.
Yeah, you can trade quite well. I think Ashe can potentially out-trade Caitlyn if it's played right, obviously. Blitzcrank, wow, okay.
So, Zyphora's second most played champion after the Thresh is, of course, the Blitzcrank. And Ashe lands an arrow, Blitz lands a hook, and whoever's hit is in serious, serious trouble. The response may well be for now, although for Morgana and Caitlyn Morgana is a duo as old as time. You root someone in place, Caitlyn puts down a cupcake, and people get their heads shot off.
Yeah, it's a kill lane. If Morgana hits a binding, somebody dies basically in that lane. So that'll be interesting to see if Newa can do well with the black shields and prevent any hooks from going through. I don't know how well Blitzcrank's going to do there.
Well, we'll have to keep our eyes on it. The Wukong, of course, is locked in now as well. Flexible champion between top and jungle, though, of course, primarily seen up towards that top. And just very, very strong team fighter in general, especially once it's hit that first item breakpoint. Wavy Lad, though, likely picking up the Jarvan. And I know, as we're heading into this second round of bans, that you had some questions about that jungle matchup and whether the discrepancy there, particularly in sort of just general solo queue and elo, could be a problem for Sacramento.
Yeah, I mean, Sacramento, they look like they improved their roster. They've got a better mid laner, apparently. Better support, supposedly. So I guess the big question mark over how well Sacramento are going to do is Wavy. So getting him on a comfortable, classic VL champion like Jarvan is probably a smart idea.
Okay, well, we'll have to see how it plays out, and we'll have to keep our eyes on Wavy and whether he can step up here in Division 2. It's a big step up in general, and they have to show that they are worthy of being in the division. Bans for now in this phase 2 have been Vladimir and Yorick, and then the Kennen and the Nico as well, definitely indexing towards the top lane.
Oh, I like those bans.
For realistically sort of both, though, of course, the Vladimir is something that Monsi plays a fair amount to.
Yeah, I mean, getting rid of the Kennen and the Nico is good because they're really good with the Jarvan. Orianna coming in now for Sacramento. It's ball delivery systems. We like those.
Yeah, welcome to the laundromat. You throw all the clothes in the big washing machine, and then Orianna turns it on for you, and everyone kind of dies. And the colours all come out stained with blood. It's wonderful. Looking like the response here, though, from Monsi will be Kassadin, which...
I'm not sure about that one.
So Kassadin's been rising a fair amount in priority around the world, partly because if you can survive the laning phase, you can just destroy people on this champion right now. So damn strong. If you can survive. Guy called Arya out in the LJL, had the highest kills for a game for a long time in this particular summer split off Kassadin. Also locking in one of the most aggressive early junglers you can possibly find within League of Legends. Xin Zhao. Wukong going top as well.
Yeah, this is what we were saying before. If OPN are probably going to look to abuse Wavy, I think Xin Zhao is a fantastic pick there. Xin Zhao can just walk into Jarvan's jungle and...
You have to flag and drag and hope.
Yeah, you have to either run away or hope that Xin Zhao has timed it wrong, and Orianna has good mid prio for you. And then Maokai for Jonjo, classic tank Jonjo. He's always on tanks.
That feels like a little bit of a lie. This man who loves his Nara and his Nico, I suspect you may be lying.
And the cannon.
Oh yeah,
3 bans towards Jonjo. I mean,
massively true. But what I will say is the Maokai is fantastic engage on top of the Jarvan. It's another ball delivery system. It's more frontline to keep your Orianna and your Ashe safe. And it means that Blitzcrank doesn't have to be the only one to pull out magic, right? Like he can have those comps where like Blitzcrank's your engage, and that kind of sucks. So I'm seeing a lot of pick, a lot of front to back, with a little bit of spice with that Ashe Arrow and Blitzcrank from Sacramentum. Other side though, OP Nerds have kind of got a bit of an interesting one themselves. I can see that, you know, bot lane's a lot of pressure, but Xin Zhao for Weebly, Wavy's gonna have to be real careful.
Yeah, Wavy's definitely gonna have to be careful here. I think I like both of these drafts actually. I wasn't too sure on the Blitzcrank before, but Zyphora is good on the hook champs. And they've got a lot of good team fight ability with their top side of the map. And then for OP Nerds, they've got good, very, very good early game. Level 6, they probably, if they get 6 first and they get 6 ahead, they could probably take over this game. And then they've got the Kassadin for the late game assurance, which is it's always nice. It's good to have that. I do think I like Sacramentum's composition better. It just looks easier to execute on.
That I agree with. I think Sacramentum, if I took the nameplates off, I'd say Sacramentum have the easier team comp to execute. Having that said, if I look at OP Nerds though, they're basically throwing the gauntlet out on a couple things, right? That you've got Monsi and General Jin saying like, we aren't going to win lane with these champions necessarily. We want to hit our first item, our level 6 marks. Hellcastin's probably going to want level 11 and 2 items. But if they survive, potentially they will if Sacramentum can't pull things off, and especially if Wavy Lad is under the cosh of Weebly, then they get to hit this mid game with 2 monstrous sort of mid game, and let's be real here, Casting being a late game carry, and maybe that turns around. Let me put this straight out to you then. You've seen the comps, you've seen the teams and the players on them. Who are you favouring now we've come out of draft?
I think that I definitely think Sacramento have won this draft. I think if they play it properly, there's no way OP Nerds should win this. If I'm OP Nerds, I'm probably going to try and get that Caitlyn ahead early, so that Caitlyn can kind of bully everyone else on Sacramentum here, and hope they can get to the Kassadin level 16 dream. Yeah,
I mean that's just it, right? Like this is the thing, that if you can play around the bot lane with your Caitlyn Morgana, leave your 2 solo lanes like with the assumption they just don't die, OP Nerds have a pretty good option. And hey, if Xin Zhao can get on top of Jarvan and make Jarvan's life miserable, then maybe your lanes get free chances to scale. Because I think that's been the difference for me, is that Sacramentum have drafted like great team comp, assuming players are equal, or even just like a standard team comp. Whereas I feel OP Nerds have basically decided to almost draft against the players a little more, saying, yeah, we don't think Wavy's going to be able to punish our solo lanes, and actually I think Weebly on this Xin Zhao is going to be able to punish Wavy harder.
Yeah, I mean, from the looks of it, it kind of looks like they expect Monzi's just going to have a free lane and not need to really worry about anything. Because, you know, otherwise the Kassadin doesn't really fit to me. I mean, I'm not sure if Monzi's a good Kassadin or not, how well he plays the champion. Because if I'm
particularly present on the OP.GG, but that's not to say he hasn't played it elsewhere or in other seasons or hell on other accounts.
I mean, if I'm Wavy right here, I'm probably starting red and level 2 ganking mid. Yeah.
All right, we are now kind of loading into game, waiting, of course, on getting into that before we start talking about things. Also worth talking a little bit about, I think, here, where you're expecting these early minutes to play out. I'm seeing a lot of bot lane pressure on my end.
Definitely. I think Wavy should look mid very early, and then Callum can kind of get free lane if he takes Kassadin's flash. And then after that, all focus is on bot lane. I'm thinking, if I'm that bot lane, I'm making sure I get a deep ward in the far side bush. just in case we get lane ganked, and so that my top laner can TP down to save us when we inevitably get ganked.
You're right, you heard it there. That ward needs to get in. You've heard what Wavy's early pathing will be, but the thing is, if we're calling it out on cast, you can guarantee that Weebly is definitely thinking the same things. And if you can catch that Jarvan mid-rotation before the gank comes through, Jin Zhao can absolutely ruin Jarvan's day. Especially, like, if you flag and drag and Jin Zhao's still in range to charge at you with the Audacious Charge, like, you got nowhere. You've got to burn flash and hope at that point.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think Jarvan has a chance if they meet each other on the crab and he doesn't have pressure. He's kind of screwed. Xin Zhao should win that every single time.
Top side of the match, though, you should be hoping there'll be a fair amount of pressure. Like, Wukong, not the best early on. Granted, it's versus Maokai, who's not exactly known for being a ridiculous lane bully. Now, as we're getting into game, we're, of course, going to be pausing at that 10-second mark to sync up all of our various streams and PCs, and we'll be kind of getting onto the Rift as is. Of course, that would, of course, involve everybody loading in and everything running, so we'll have to find out how that actually
works.
Alrighty.
We'll get the classic VL, level 1 pause.
It's always that way. And that's me at 10 seconds, waiting now for British Blaze to count us in, and we'll get on with the game as is.
Just take a look at these the runes here. We've got the Fleet from Kassadin. I guess he knows that he's going to struggle a bit in lane. So Fleet is it's good tech to take there. The Hail of Blades on the Xin Zhao, he's definitely going to be looking for job in this game. I mean, there's two ways I like to see Xin Zhao, either with the Hail of Blades or, what's it called? Phase Rush? I think Phase Rush Xin Zhao is very, very strong.
Okay, well,
so with the Hail of Blades,
talk too much about that Hail of Blades. I'm aware we've got two very aggressive 5-man stacks in the bot side, but as I was getting hyped and cutting you off ready for this fight, we get that level 1 pause. You kind of called it already. Here it is.
Yeah. It's always the case. It always happens.
All right, so tell me more about Hail of Blades. We've got the time.
Yeah, so Hail of Blades Xin Zhao, he's obviously going to look to try and find Jarvan early. He wins the trade every single time with the Hail of Blades. There is basically nothing Jarvan can do to outtrade that.
I hope for a knock up an Orianna there to make it just CC lock. Or I suppose Maokai coming down.
I mean, that's why I prefer the Phase Rush, because in the mid game, it would really help him get onto the Ashe, getting the speed boost from it. But Hail of Blades is fine. Either one is decent, in my opinion.
Well, I suppose the Xin Zhao's kind of in here as the bridging pick and a kind of anti-Jarvan measure, right? You're there to punish Jarvan and make sure your Wukong and Kassadin have some agency to get back to or get through, rather, to the mid and late game in one piece, and hopefully a little bit more than one piece. Looks like General Jin, who'd had some DC issues, is now back into game, so the Wukong is no longer absent, and we'll be probably looking to rejoin the match fairly shortly.
We're also looking at no heal in the bot lane for Sacramentum as well.
Very
Just
aggressive.
spotted that one. Yeah, he's gone for the exhaust, so obviously he assumes he's gonna need it. It's a good tech against Kassadin.
And the Xin Zhao and the Wukong, actually, honestly. Like, they're all going to want to dive on you, and if you can exhaust the first target, I kind of agree. I suspect that the heal wouldn't save you, the exhaust might.
The exhaust is got a higher chance of saving you.
Something that's been turning up a fair amount more in solo queue in general, actually, is like AD carries going for the exhaust, just because there are a big prevalence of AD carries that A, don't have dashes, and B, there's a lot of things that want to get on top of those AD carries. I'm thinking Wukongs and Castins and Volibears, oh my. Perhaps then you kind of tend to see the heal traded onto the support, but with Zyphora going for the Blitzcrank and then wanting a bit of kill pressure, I can see the Ignite being a choice that makes sense there too.
Yeah, the Ignite makes sense. I don't think you ever take the heal on the Blitzcrank.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's not really worth it.
No, and especially if you're going for the hook jump all in, you want that kill pressure. I'm totally with you.
Yeah, for sure you want the kill pressure.
All right, well, still kind of waiting around. Just check if there's been any updates, and still not quite there. So in that case we've got a little bit of chance to talk it through. We are set up for a level 1 Rumble in the Jungle 5-man stack. Where are we expecting this level 1 to go? Who has the favor? The favor, I suppose we'll put it that way, for this particular matchup here in this bot lane bush.
Yeah, I mean, can we check what everyone started?
May well
so
not have
nobody's leveled anything up on OPN.
No.
We got the volley from Ash, hook from Blitzcrank, obviously, but yeah, I'm just curious about what Dorman's gonna level up first.
Okay, worth pointing
out. You can imagine we get.
Maokai's gone for the Bramble Smash, by the way.
Okay, that's good for the level 1.
AoE damage. It's not the root, which of course some people do tend to go with. Like the Twisted Advance can be pretty useful if you're wanting to find your way into more CC, but I think you probably got enough. And if you're just wanting more AoE damage, makes a lot of sense. And with everybody stacked up in that bush, like Blitzcrank has no chance of missing if he pulls the hook.
Yeah, I mean, the ideal thing is for Zyphora to have Ethereal Sense and just blind hook into that bush and just pull somebody out of it. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But
I wonder with what you would probably do
if Caitlyn starts the traps. If Caitlyn starts the traps, they're gonna face check a Morgana binding Caitlyn trap, and one person dies.
Oh yeah, that could be rough. So remember, you don't get vision if they do the strat they're doing, and I suspect if Wavy can throw down the flag, you know, start with the flag, give vision in the bush, then go for the Blitzcrank, then go for the volley, the Bramble Smash, everything else coming through on top. There's room where that gets turned around, but I completely agree. Morgana trap plus Cupcake sounds pretty damn good. And hell, Xin Zhao is very good early. I'm just aware this is with a Wukong level 1 and a Kassadin level 1. Those are not particularly good level 1 champions.
Yeah, no, they aren't. I mean, Wukong does have the Nimbus Strike, so he is going to do a tiny amount of AoE damage. But yeah,
it's armor shred, but that's good for the Caitlyn. That's about it. Because basically your combo is Xin Zhao, Caitlyn, and Morgana looking for something. But Xin Zhao's going to have to dive into 5, and that's not great either. And that's assuming somebody's not pulled into the midst of 5 men from Sacramentum, who have got a pretty good level 1 here, I think, with their champions and abilities.
Yeah, it's difficult. This could go either way. It really does depend on.
Place your bets in chat, and we'll find out who comes out on top. It's going to be a tight one, and we've heard some various combos and methods about how it could go. And this is all assuming it actually happens, of course. People could back away and make things really boring. But
we could sit here, watch this, get all hyped up and amped over it, and then OPN just spread.
That could be exactly that. But speaking of OPM, we've still got some connection issues here for General Jin, who's kind of reconnecting and disconnecting by the sounds of it. So we're still kind of working out what's going on there. Until such a time as this, we'll continue to ruminate on the game and where things go in this level 1 fight we've been setting up for a long while. It feels like a UFC fight. Like we've been setting this up for months in advance, and fighters are going to pull out, and it's all going to go nowhere. And Conor McGregor will say he was the best anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing the tail of the tape right now. That's what's happening.
Where's that banter? Like, I need angry words from OPN and from Sacramentum. Where's my salt?
We need their noses touching right now. That's what we need. Face to face, sweat dripping. I've just noticed actually, John Joe's gone for the aftershock tech on.
Yeah, he's not going for grass. He's gone for the aftershock. I mean, he's looking to. That sounds like he wants to brawl a lot then, which I can understand.
I still think the grasp would be better, wouldn't it?
You'd imagine so. You can trade a little harder versus the Wukong, at least in lane. It'll give you more lane pressure, I would imagine.
He's in a melee matchup. I mean, Wukong's going to want to trade on him.
I mean, he's basically saying, yo, I want to teleport out this lane and find a fight and just go really aggressive with my twisted advances. Which isn't a bad thing, but I think for lane state, it's going to suck a bit. And I sometimes feel that Aftershock is kind of the, I don't know what to play on this champion, let me pick this sometimes. So, like, I see how it works. I'm also afraid for the lane.
Yeah, I'm very afraid for the lane. He can probably get abused quite hard there because he doesn't have the grasp. And I think it makes him less tanky late game as well. So
yeah, he'll have less health that he'll be able to stack up. Certainly, you know, just that's kind of the joy of a grasp. If you get to stack it super lots early on in lane, and you can end up like a Scion, just all the HP ever. General Jin here still pulling off that UFC will he won't he fight mentality, still reconnecting and disconnecting. And we're still Initialize and Cliff still chatting about this game here in Division 2 Game 1 Week 1 of Split 3 of the Valence League. Kind of figuring out what's going on. Yeah, no new information to be found as yet. Still some issues with that connectivity, as we were saying, for General Jin.
Just going to have a look through the runes that everyone's taken, as we've got nothing else to do, really. John Joe going with the biscuits and magical footwear.
Oh, curious. Well, that's possibly how he's thinking of sustaining him, rather than through the grasp, is just looking for the biscuits and then having aftershock for the team fights. I mean, how do you think that plays out?
I mean, I'm not 100% sure on the Maokai top lane tech. Playing Maokai support, I would definitely be taking the biscuits. I'm not sure about magical footwear.
We're back into game, and that means fight, you hope. But at the moment, the level 5 stack, we set it up, and they're finally starting to move. Maokai now recalling. They're looking to see whether they can find someone here stepping forwards, but this is just potential trouble. There's the binding. Now Zy4 is in trouble. The hook back, but the flash out. Wavy's in trouble. There is General Jin now in trouble, looking to try and find a way with the ignite. It's out, and first blood goes the way of Wavy, lad. And that will be a bloodbath we called. Summoners burnt. Zy4 has none, which could be trouble in the lane, but Weebly will not be in the best space come the early game, or rather General Jin as well, who won't be in lane in time for these minions. But wait, of course John Joe cancelled his back, so neither will he. It's just going to be the first blood and summoners by the looks of it.
Yeah, they didn't burst Zy4 quick enough, so Zy4 got to flash back and then hook someone out, and that was it. After that, they won the level 1 there. If they'd have bursted Zy4 faster, maybe more focus, and maybe it's just a mid laner that actually does damage level 1, they would have been fine. But yeah, I mean, you're Sacramentum, you take that. You take that every time. You'll take Blitzcrank Flash level 1 to get an early kill on your jungler.
Yes, you do, and we said that Wavy was going to be potentially in a difficult position in this matchup. First blood helps. It really helps. And that's another good hook. Dormin now in a bit of bother. Guardian is helping, but half the HP bar of that Caitlyn is just evaporated at the end of that trade.
It's looking like you don't want to give Zy4 a hook chance, guys.
Level 2 hits, and that's what happens. Oh, yeah. Man. The Thresh is gone. Alright, now John Joe and General Jin trading in the top side. Aftershock came down, but now the extended trade. Wavy might just die to Raptors here. Oh dear.
Wavy, lad.
Weebly now gets a free gank into top side, but that was a twisted advance, but the flash in from Weebly will secure a kill on the Maokai. Tree is felled, and the tower shot won't claim Weebly's life at the end of it as well. Flash blown from Weebly, but also from John Joe, and it went really swiftly wrong, as swiftly as it went right for Wavy, lad.
100%, yeah. I mean, OPN should be in the driving seat now. They know that he died there. If I'm...
He's not left.
Oh, wow, he's still here.
Oh, he's still thinking about it. That's a quick advance, just thinking about it. But this Jin Zhao, just with the full camp, now with the sapling tosses, it's going to get a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Just baiting, and I got a little bit excited because I saw that Jin Zhao around, and we've seen how Weebly wants to play this already, but little to be found there. But General Jin has now been stopped, but that was the clone you went on to, John Joe. Nothing to be found.
That's a shame.
But it stops the back at a particularly good moment, and yeah, General Jin has the teleport, but it's likely he'll have to burn it now rather than be able to walk back.
Man, I think we really wasted a bit too much time there.
Not possible.
Wavy died in his jungle. You take that gank, you go clear one of Wavy's camps, in my opinion. I think that's the correct way to play it. I mean, going for the double gank would have been great, giving Wukong a massive advantage, but I don't know, at this point now it just looks like we wasted too much time. Because he's down in CS. I mean, he's down in gold as well, so...
Not hugely, but definitely a gold lead there. You know, it's of like 10 or 12 gold, granted, but it's there. And that's kind of a little bit sad, really, with where that was stepping. Monty, feeling the pain of facing Orianna early in this lane, has burnt through a lot of mana to put out the trades, though. So might have to look for a back at some point. You do kind of want to look for that lost chapter, though, and I don't think Orianna will have that gold quite yet. Now she's still a few hundred off that, so maybe this actually gives Monty a little bit of free space in this lane. Wavy Lad now roaming down. Dormin and Nawar need to be careful. Zyphor looking for the hook, looking to try and bait out the Black Shield. It's down. That was the flash knockup. Flash out from Nawar, and that will be the end of that. Trying to trade back is Dormin with some fantastic headshots, and the root comes through from Nawar to try and turn it around. Open taken very low. Wavy Lad trying to come back in, but can't find the knockup.
Yeah, it was well played by OPN. It was a good flash by Nawar as well, moving to the side instead of flashing straight forward. I think it was well played by all of them, to be fair, down there. Nice trade back as well.
Yeah, you could sort of see Zyphora holding on that hook, waiting to see if they could bait the Black Shield, but Nawar played it cool. And they do come out. It's a flash-for-flash trade, and Jarvan does that. Hook! Once again, Zyphora just don't miss. The exhaust comes down, and it will be heal out from Dormin in the end of that as well. Trading in the top side, Weebly is back, and Jonjo is likely dead. The Sawmill is here, and Weebly will slice it down. Wind becomes lightning, and that lightning fries a tree.
Can we get Zyphora?
Not again! Not again!
No.
Oh, Zyphora, you monster! No Black Shield to save the Caitlyn's life. And it'll be a kill on the board for Robin in the bot side.
Man, can Zyphora stop hitting hooks, please? It's making me feel bad about my Blitzcrank.
This is what would happen if Apple decided to get into gaming. They just run all these scripts everywhere. iRobot, Will Smith, somewhere out there was been telling you this for years. The robot's too good, and we're looking now at the Mountain Drake start as a result of the bot lane kill.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good time to start it. What I will say from that last fight is Open flash forward to secure the kill, maybe a bit too aggressively, and Dormin didn't flash at all. I think Dormin probably should have flashed that hook. If we're being hypercritical, that's a hooky flash.
That's a hooky flash. I'm very much with you. Maybe he was expecting the Black Shield to come through. I don't know whether it was on cooldown, whether Nawar just wasn't in time, or any other number of reasons. But that means it's now 1-0-1 for the Ashe, who's gone back, has got Cull, has got a pickaxe in inventory. Has not got the BF sword, though, so at least in combat stats, straight out, I think I actually favour the Caitlyn right now. Probably greeding for that wave, actually, to stick around.
Yeah, Caitlyn's definitely going to do more damage right now, but Open's going for that Mirror Mana build on the Ashe. Yeah. So, you know, you sacrifice a bit of your early advantage that he would have had, being a killer and an assister, to, you know, late game have probably the best AD item.
It is so good. We've seen so many AD carries pick that up recently. Senna, of course, Draven's been playing it. We know Ashe has been playing it. It's kind of become the flavor of the month, and we know, of course, that Ezreal has been playing it pretty much since its inception as an item.
Twitch really likes it as well at the moment, too.
Interesting to know. There you go.
That one's the most annoying.
You would know, I suppose, as the support player down for the squad's out in Division 3, so we'll see how this goes. Weebly's found his way into this post, but has been spotted out on the ward. That's a hook out. Zyphora trying to buy time, but knocked up. The shield is in, but I don't think it's going to save anybody's life. Remember, there was no heal. And a good lane gank from the Jin Shao, who's found a lot of work early on in this game.
Yeah, he's been all over the place. He hasn't looked mid yet.
We're going to have to talk about that later, because there's some ultimates being burned. General Jin won't burn the second track of the ultimate just yet, but there it is. And Jonjo, are you sure about this one? Trading a little bit harder now. And the mana is down. That's a very low health bar. There's a flash on the Maokai. It's not burned because it's silenced his Callum, and now maybe General Jin can look to go further, but nothing to be found. Teleport cancelled. Jonjo low, but no kill found.
Yeah, Wavy's starting the Herald here as well, so
he is.
He can take this advantage. What I will say is Orianna down in CS to Kassadin. I don't know if that's normal, but I imagine it's not.
No, not at all. No, Kenny, that's what we said, you know, when we mentioned earlier. Used a lot of that mana early to get an advantage in HP, but then there was no mana. It's like, I want to back for Lost Chapter and I can't, and I have no mana, and now Casting gets a free lane. What am I going to do?
Yeah, it doesn't even get
mana
the
management.
It's with that Aether Wisp as well.
Going for the Spellbinder first, likely then. Interesting option.
I mean, with that and Phase Rush, it's a lot of movement speed, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and just damage early as well. Like you get a Shockwave at a key team fight with that active, and you can do a lot of work. Wavy did secure the Rift Herald, it must be noted, and that's plates available to Sacramentum at some point if they decide to choose channel said Rift Herald at a given moment, which I'm sure they will.
I mean, Sacramentum's got a nice CS lead in the bot lane. I imagine that if you're Sacramentum right now, you're very happy about Oben being ahead.
Oh, Mana Mune is complete, rather.
Mana Mune is complete as well, so now the scaling really begins. This is where, you know, that early sacrifice wasn't abused at all. Where Caitlyn was stronger than Ashe, it was just ignored. They didn't go back down there. They could have abused that power spike that Kate had over Ashe, but now he's at the mirror mana, so he's going to free scale this.
I suppose that was the attempt with the Weebly gank down there, and it did get those. It didn't get Oben though, which is the big one. Who is still maintaining something of a CS lead here. There is a wave pushing in as well, so that will likely level up. But now Wavy allows to come over the wall. Callum in trouble in the mid lane. Monsi and Weebly going in. The teleport now coming through. The Shockwave buys Callum time, but Monsi gets the kill. The gank in the bot lane now turns around. Nawar in trouble, and the Cataclysm is there, but the 50 caliber net will not save Dorman's life. And good night, say the bot lane of OP Nerds, falling to Auburn, Zyphora, and Wavy Lad. Mid lane and top lane, though, is traded back by OP Nerds. We're going to see the Rift Herald summoned, and it's a trade back and forth that looked pretty even until we start accounting for plates.
Yeah, I mean, General Jin cancelled John Joe's TP. He tried to TP into the mid lane, cancelled it, and then solo killed him because of it. So that was really unfortunate. John Joe needed to step a bit further back for that one, probably. It just happened all over the map then, didn't it?
It absolutely did, and we call it the VLPL for a reason. The bloodbath continues, the sawmill continues. John Joe fell for his third death. It was the 2v1 kill in the mid lane and the 2v2 double kill in the bot lane, all things said and done. And nearly first turret as well now for Auburn and Zyphora in this bot side. Really putting Dormin and they were in the way, but that's another good hook, Zyphor. I don't think I've seen you miss a hook on screen. Now Weebly has thrown down the Crescent Guard, trying to buy time, trying to buy anything. Wavy Lad goes down so low, and that is a shutdown onto Castin 2-0. Nawar and Dormin roamed up. That is a double onto the Castin, 3-0-0 is that champion now. General Jin looking to go forward. There's the ace in the hole, but Auburn, sorry, not Auburn, Callum will survive at the end of it. Dragon and 2 kills go the way of OP Nerds.
That was an insane turnaround. Weebly survived for so long then, and just aggroed the dragon, knocked them all up, let Monty do free damage from over the wall for a bit, and you know, with the stacked ultimate, Monty could just shred people, almost getting Callum as well. I think one auto attack away from Wukong, and he would have been dead then as well. That was a great turnaround by OPN. I think they're in control now.
I think they probably are. They've got the gold lead here as well, as we've crested that 10-minute mark a couple minutes ago. We're looking at a 2,000 gold lead pretty comfortably. A Castin that's at 3-0-0 with a CS lead. Similar news, 2-1-1 for the Wukong in the top side. Not the CS lead, but certainly the gold lead. And that Xin Zhao currently at nearly 100% kill participation. 6 of those 7 kills that Xin Zhao has been involved in thus far early on in the game.
Yeah, Weebly's been everywhere. I mean, this game at the moment is the Weebly and Zyphora show. So who's going to carry this harder for their team? I would like to point out as well, Cassidin is 1.7k gold right now.
File at 13 minutes. We're nearly at level 11 as well, which is a big power point for that. Cassidin is going towards the Archangel staff second as well. So this is going to be the hyper scaling, hyper tanky, in your face all the time Cassidin build that is just runs over games. You can get there for free, and thus far I think it has been pretty free for this Cassidin. There comes the Ashe. It did miss. Weebly now in that 1v1 versus Wavy Lad. He's got a 3-level advantage. The Cataclysm is going to come out, but Wavy Lad, you're just dead. They're in the Crescent Guard, and that will be the turnaround. I think you take that 1-for-1.
You take that 1-for-1. You take that one. It's an XP lead as well, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, the binding now lands, and we're going to see the Cyclone in the back end of the fight. Callum falls to Dormin, and this is the turnaround we were afraid of. General Jin taken very, very low. Oben trying to stay alive. Monty's gone forward, but gone too deep. He's knocked up, trying to flash out. Will escape, but not before most of his health bar's gone. Nawar goes golden and survives. That is a kill onto Zy4. It is a 2. Right there, 3 actually for 1 overall. Wavy Lad, Callum, and Zy4 fall after the turnaround, and re-engage comes in from OP Nerds.
Yeah, that was a nice binding onto the Orianna, and that whole fight, Dormin is just free hitting. They're so focused on fighting Monty that Dormin is just doing damage from the back. They don't even kill Monty, which is such a shame. Yeah.
Well,
I think
Caston, with mobility, with flash, did escape, and they just lost vision of him. And Oben was doing a hell of a lot of damage, but not enough to clean up any kills. It gets Dormin back into the game now as well. He's 2-2-2. Got Stormrazor complete. This Caston 3-0-2. This Wukong, Blade of the Rune King now complete. Looking towards a Black Cleaver second. Very strong as well right here in this game.
I mean, yeah, I think OPN are doing what we said they needed to do, which was take control of the game early and scale Kassadin, like, as fast as they can. I mean, Kassadin is already doing insane amounts of damage. Oben's just gonna die. Like, if Oben stands too close and Monzy has his ultimate stacked, he dies so quickly here.
Looking like Callum will be going towards that GLP first on the Orianna now with the Hextech Revolver in inventory, which I think does make a lot of sense when you've got 3 of these champions diving in. Being able to slow down the Wukong, the Xin Zhao, the Kassadin, who are trying to kill off both yourself and, of course, the Ashe, does make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a bit sorry for Callum. Obviously,
Yes.
he blew a lot of his mana early in the lane, and it just let Monzy farm on him. Being down in CS to Kassadin can't be fun, and he's just not going to do any damage right now. You see that he did 1 Q and he did nothing to the Kassadin. It's kind of upsetting.
Trading through the magic damage shield. There you can see the poke coming out when you can time it right. And it is kind of a bit of a mini game. Can you get your command protect down before the null sphere comes out from the Kassadin? Second Rift Herald being started for Sacramentum. And thus far, OP Nerds don't look like they want to contest. In fact, you can see the on the way pings towards this dragon instead. Is a Cloud Rift, and this would only be the second Drake of the game for either of these teams.
Yeah, they don't need to contest this at all. They don't need to walk in there when Sacramentum are 5 stacked, because that's what Sacramentum want them to do. So it's just smart. Walk down towards the dragon, get the priority in the river, and maybe try and pick somebody as they come to it.
Saw the attempt there from Zy4 to use the silence from the ultimate and then get the attack onto. Good binding there from the Morgana, but Weebly now in a bit of bother. Dashes over the wall. Now Wavy like going back over. There's the Crescent Guard. That's the shockwave, but it's not enough. Flashes come out and Zy4 falls. Wavy will be the second, and it is another 1 team fight from OP Nerds. The re-engage from General Jing on the backside, and Oben falls. Now Callum trying to buy time by anything at all. But health bars are still fairly high, and OP Nerds are running over these team fights. The re-engages have been so damn strong.
Yeah, I mean, this is sad to watch for if you're Sacramentum. If you're a Sacramentum fan, it just feels like they can't do anything. The Kassadin's big, you know, it takes forever for Weebly to die, and Weebly didn't even go down. He was out of position there, caught by 5 people, and he just lives through it.
Well, the problem is all of the damage you want to be dealing onto this Xin Zhao comes from outside the range of the Crescent Guard, so he just doesn't take it. Like, he's invulnerable, and so you've got like a Maokai, a under-leveled Jarvan, and a Blitzcrank trying to kill down this hyper-fed, hyper-scaled Xin Zhao. Like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, and he's well on his way to Trinity Force as well, so it's going to be even scarier. He will be able to 1v1 Oben, so I don't know what they do now. If I'm Sacramentum, I hope Wavy can steal the next dragon.
That's possible. Remember, you can still give up this next dragon. It's only after you hit that soul point you need to be absolutely terrified. And Oben here has got his way to 2 items. He's got that Hurricane in as well, which is a big spike for the Ashe. GLP's done for Orianna as well. Maybe there's a team fight where that goes a little better now. But they need to be better off on sorting out these flanks. That's multiple times that the General Jin has found free access into the backline. And they just need to be more aware of doing that, and I need to see some more judicious cataclysms from Wavy Lad, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, they're not keeping Oben safe. Right now, Oben is their only damage.
Sure, Oriana's a little ways away from
nice
But yes, but we're looking at a GLP first and a spin inventory. That's not Luden's death cap for an Oriana.
No, exactly. Yeah.
You're looking at 3 items here to really find damage on this Oriana. And yeah, you buy a lot of time, you buy a lot of zone control, and the command protect is really lovely. But it's not a game winner right now. Jonjo has found Monsi in a side lane, and Weebly is here as well. It is another 2 versus 1. And Jonjo, you were pushed up so damn far. What were you doing? Easiest kill of Weebly's life in that bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, he probably should have donated that one over to Kassadin, but we're fine with that. We'll let him.
Callum gets dived on the tower, and turns out Wukong gets 2 ultimates and gets a kill. It is a kill in either side lane, both solo laners for Sacramentum 4, but it does come in trade at least for the mid lane tier 1 from Sacramentum.
And they won't stop fighting this game, will they?
No,
just
not
won't stop.
Why would you do that?
This is classic VLPL.
It is
I
a kill a
understand why
minute.
you say it now.
Yeah.
It's actually a kill a minute, yeah.
I like to, you know, obviously we're not on cameras, but I tend to stick on a load of clown makeup as well, because we're all here at the circus and we all enjoy the fiesta. So I've got some limes and some tequila in my fridge. I'll be mixing up myself a nice cocktail to go with it all, and we'll enjoy the Brazilian-style fiesta here in the summer months of the UK. 2 items now completed for this Wukong. Trinity Force in for the Xin Zhao. This Kassadin has just picked up a 2nd item. It's not Archangel's Staff, as it's not Seraph's Embrace rather yet, but that is just terrifying item completions right now for OPN.
Yeah, I mean he's over 2/3 of the way to the Seraphs as well. So
he's going towards a Lich Pay in 3rd as well. He's got that Sheen inventory and General Jin. It's the same push. It's the same playstyle, and Jonjo has had his armor shredded by the Nimbus Strike. Gonna have to try and find his way out, but look at Weebly. Here is Zyphora and Oben. They're trying to turn around the Ignite now down, and Weebly is in trouble. May have to flash to teleport out. There is the Cataclysm, and the Crescent Guard is full, but Weebly gets the kill anyway. That's what you get for being so far ahead. It's still a 1-for-1 right now, but Ash falls. Monsi found his way in, and the Kassadin is here, and it's all like the end of Rogue One. You can hear the Darth Vader breathing, and you can see the Sith Lord of League of Legends found another couple kills in that fight. 5, 0, and 7 out of the end of that one.
Yeah, that was exactly what we were talking about earlier. How does Oben survive these fights? How does Oben live against this Kassadin? Like, if everybody's focusing on trying to kill Weebly, what does Oben do in these fights? He just dies. He can't do anything. The exhaust was a good idea, but Kassadin is already fed. You know? Like, what, he took like 1/3 of his HP with 1 auto attack. It's kind of insane right now.
The problem is that Sacramentum's back to front team comp is losing team fights and can't play back to front because Xin Zhao is 5-2 and 9 with 2.5 items complete. Kassadin is 5-0-7 with 2.5 items complete. Wukong is 5-1 and 5 with 2.5 items complete. That's a good hook. And maybe General Jin now in trouble, but there is a blast plant that is popped to prevent the easy back. Oben has got ult, not got ult, I apologize, and maybe won't be able to get it. The Blade of the Ruin King slow is pretty good onto Wavy Lad, though, and prevent anything more. I like the attempt, but that's what Sacramentum have been reduced to, trying to find judicious pickoffs. And it's pretty hard versus the Wukong with the clone, versus the Kassadin with the Rift Wall. Hell, versus the Xin Zhao with the Crescent Guard. I'm struggling to see which picks actually work.
Yeah, and they have to give up the Dragon for that as well, which is puts OPN on Soul Point. It's only Cloud Soul, but Cloud Soul on a Kassadin is pretty good.
Yeah, not bad on a Wukong either, I don't think. Actually, the Cyclone with a little bit of extra oomph behind it to keep up on top of that Ash, who's already struggling to stay safe. And Callum, you can't be pushed up there. You had no vision. And Monsi eviscerates the robot. Anakin Skywalker throwing his way back to the Clone Wars. That battle droid had nothing to say about that one. That's a good hook though onto the monkey. And now General Jin in a spot of bother. But the turnaround, have you hooked me or I hooked you? Zyphora going very, very low and maybe regretted that. That's the Ash out now. Dormin in trouble. Flash out, but the shutdown goes the way of Oben. There goes Weebly into the back and we'll get the kill onto the Blitzcrank. The other robot falls. And now under tower with the Crescent Guard, OPN manages to kite his way out, but it is a 2-for-1 in the end. The counter engage has just been so damn strong from OP Nerds.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Blitzcrank just doesn't want to hook anyone. I wouldn't be hooking anyone at least. The only target he wants to hit is the Caitlyn. Anybody else, and you lose the team fight. It's
you need to be able to blow someone up before support can get there, and it's just taking too long at the minute. There is the transformation out to the Muramana for Ashe, and that's good news. And maybe if the Infedge can come through in a decent time, there's room for that. Jonjo's going to prevent the back from Monty. They're looking for an engage onto this Kassadin, but the Nature's Advance did not come through. Oh no, the Nature's Grasp did not come through. And the correct amount of time, the Shockwave coming through. Monty still in bother, but the teleport now coming through, and Kassadin just... There is no health bar. It's gone. Orianna is dead, and the team fight now continues. It is 4. Make that 3 versus 3. General Jin gets godlike on the kill onto the Jarvan. OPN will get 2, though. And this Ashe is online, and that was a big pair of shutdowns for the Ashe with the hope of Sacramentum. I'd written it off, Cliff, and I think they found potentially something pretty special there.
I mean, I'd written it off as well, but 1,700 gold worth of shutdown over to Odin. The Baron's going to get started up. Yeah, I mean, the Baron started here, and they can't steal it. They can force him off, but I still don't know what they do.
You teleported there to try and buy time, and I think you might trade for it with your life. Rooted and uprooted is Jonjo. The tree falls again for the 6th time this game.
That was a great stun look. That was well played.
Yeah, it was. And, well, Jonjo's been having a rough time this game, as has Callum. They're both at equal, unflattering stat lines of 0, 6, and 5. OPN, though, is filthy strong here at 3.5 items. He is an item and a half ahead of this Caitlyn right now, and if he can stay alive, can kite out, there is a world where this Kassadin, this Xin Zhao, and this Wukong all regret having dived forward onto the Ashe.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. I think he's still going to struggle, especially without Flash, without Exhaust. He's going to struggle to stay alive against the Kassadin.
Oh, yeah, that's 3.5 items, and that half item is an NLR. That's death cap on its way for this Kassadin. Yeah, fully stacked Seraph's Embrace, fully stacked Rod of Ages. It's like, those are some mighty items to have in your inventory, and level 16 is only moments away as well for this Kassadin as well. Keep your eyes on when that particular level up comes through. It's not quite level 16 Kale, but the thought is the same.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, wavy lad.
Oh, no.
Right, General Jin. You don't get to talk, buddy, because it's going to be a fight. OPN, though. That hook missing could be general trouble, but that's a good catechism to buy time. OPN's on a rampage, but the ace in the hole wasn't blocked. That means wavy lad goes on. OPN goes down to Weebly in the back end of this fight. Jonjo goes over the wall, but I don't think you really want that. Callum hits with the frozen hose. But all it does is buy time, and OPN fell in the end. As you said, just no way to stay safe for long enough. Even through a Phantom Dancer there.
Yeah. And that whole time was, what, 4v4? Jonjo was walking over to it, and Monty's just split pushing bot side. Monty's 16 now. So, I think it's with... Unless we see a fantastic Orianna roll on a clumped up Xin Zhao, Kassadin and Wukong, I don't see how Sacramento can pull anything off here. It's just too hard for Odin to do anything.
I need Zyphora to basically not hook and just hook whoever comes in first and buy time. I need Wavy Lad and Jonjo to basically buy time for your Ashe. That is what you're doing. I don't think you really get the option to engage all that easily anymore, because the moment you leave the Ashe isolated, one of Xin Zhao, Kassadin, or Wukong ruin her day.
Yeah, that hook 100% needs to be used to hook somebody off of the Ashe. That's the only time you use the hook now. Because if you hook
having trouble going forward, but it's the pick, that's the shockwave, but it's only on to one. Fight commences, Weebly has burned the Crescent Guard, but there goes Zyphora as well. Monty very, very low, but the flash will get onto the Ashe in the end. And that is a kill, and it's looking like a full, clean ace for OP Nerds, who run rampant in the team fight, much like they've run rampant in the game. It's 32 kills to 10. It's not even 30 minutes on the board, Cliff.
I feel like you've had to play-by-play this entire game at this point. They haven't stopped It's just been one fight after the other, and I mean, it just went so poorly at the start of this game for Sacramento. It's not how you wanted it to be. The second the Kassadin was 3-0, there was no looking back from OPN, and that's game, you know.
Oh, well, that will be game. The Nexus is exposed. OP nerds make OP a very fitting epithet, and we'll go 1-0 up in this series. Those team fights weren't close at the end.
No, they weren't. I mean, I said it so many times, Owen doesn't do anything after that. Though maybe he could have got a stopwatch to save him for a little bit longer, but then he just dies the second it finishes anyway, so... It was a hyper-accelerated Kassadin.
Yeah, congrats. I'll give praise to Auburn there, who put out, I think, the most damage in the game there, pretty much, which was very impressively done. And Jonjo as well actually did a fair amount on that Maokai, but that in itself worries me. That this Orianna got very little done. The Jarvan as well didn't get all that much done. And if I'm looking at the Bash brothers of Wukong, Xin Zhao, and Kassadin, they all kind of put up some pretty stellar damage numbers that game.
There. And if you look at the damage on Sacramento, it's literally Oben versus the world. I mean, Jonjo has a bit of damage, but that's what happens when you play top lane.
Sure, but like my point being that actually, the fact that you have an Orianna with an Orianna, Maokai, Jarvan combo, you expect the Orianna to be doing a bit more work there because you're set up to succeed with your shockwaves. And I saw so many shockwaves have to be used defensively to pull someone off a target. Never used to engage. It was like one-man shockwaves onto like the Wukong.
Yeah, there was not. I don't think I remember impressive shockwave, should I say?
All right.
He hit a couple of multi-person shockwaves, but even at that point in the game, he's so far behind. It just didn't matter.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. On the other side, though, for OP Nerds, that was business as usual. Weebly, Monty, and General Jin really ran over the top side of the map. Dorman and they had some bother, though. And, you know, the fact that Dorman's above Auburn, maybe that one is Auburn just flexing a little bit on that ranking, saying, yeah, maybe we should flip that 1 and 2 rankings around.
That was support diff. That was support diff.
Yeah, it was Zyphora on that Blitzcrank hitting a lot of hooks. Even if those hooks became more like delivery systems to the backline in towards the late game, unfortunately. For now, though, OP Nerds will come out to a very dominant early 1-0 in this series, and to see whether they can clean it up, whether Sacramentum can make the rest of the map look like bot lane, we'll have to find out after this break.